What is going on, garden fans? Welcome back to the Permaculture Homestead. I wanted to take you all off-site today to a community garden that gives away all their food for free. What? Totally crazy, right? Come on back, let's go check it out. Enjoy the journey. So I wanted to talk to y'all today about a building. And this particular building is 2 blocks away from a home I lived in back in 2014. The owners of this building live in the community, and they host a number of community outreach projects, including a multilingual church. They host a Girl Scout troop once a week that also has a free community library here on site. The owners of this building have a picnic area where the neighborhood can come out, hang out, play some volleyball, and once a year these pits will get fired up and there'll be a community barbecue. What's most important and most pertinent to me, however, is the community garden that is still being hosted on this site. Back in 2014, when I lived here, I saw a need. I needed a growing space. My selfish desires saw that this community building had a plot to grow on that wasn't being used. So I proposed a plan back in 2014, and coming back here in 2018 to see it still thriving, a community market garden that is providing the neighborhoods here with food, is just amazing. The garden here itself is 60 feet by 120 feet. That's 7,200 square feet, or 2,200 meters. Now this little market garden is worthy of a full tour, so I am going to slow down right now and try to share with you everything I can and know about it right here, right now in its current layout. The entire plot is separated into 4 quadrants, each 30 feet by 60 feet, and in this first quadrant they're growing a ton of cowpeas. These are nitrogen fixing green beans basically. They have black-eyed peas out here as well, but really just a lot of beans are in the ground in this first quadrant, and they are trying to build the fertility, obviously, so that they can bring in the nitrogen-heavy foods next season. That's going to be the corn and the squash. On the next quarter up, they have a lot of heavy feeders. There's squash, tomatoes, eggplant, and peppers. So I'm going to give you a little peek at all of those. There is a little bit of powdery mildew on this patch of green zucchini. However, that's pretty normal for zone 8 humid environment. The veggies on here look great, and obviously people have been coming out here and harvesting. There's no large fruit kind of just sitting on these vines. So everything's fresh. People come out here and harvest on a daily basis, and there's obviously enough zucchini here to feed the neighborhood. It was an idea back in the day to have an herb border around the whole growing space. Looks like the rosemary is still alive and kicking it. Some of the lemon balm I put in here is obviously long since dead. There are tomatoes growing out here, all caged up, and they have a ton of different varieties. They have Roma tomatoes, there's cherry tomatoes, and really just tons and tons of tomatoes. Currently at this time of the year, looks like their tomatoes haven't yet turned red, so not quite ripe enough yet. They must have planted these a little bit later, but they're not looking sun scalded. It looks like they're getting enough water, and those are the tomatoes. This is me just looking back at that first plot. They have, once again, different types of green beans growing. They have peas. They do have black-eyed peas. And they have the cowpeas all growing here. So once again, this is for nitrogen fixation on this quarter of the growing plot. They're obviously getting ready to kind of harvest and then work and turn some nitrogen heavy feeders into here. They do use a rotational system. There's eggplant that looks really good at this time of year, and each one of these eggplant plants is just loaded down. There may be a little bit of flea beetle damage, but for the most part, this plant is looking good and still flowering and putting on lots of production for the community here. This is a community garden. The food that is here is being given away. Anybody that lives in the neighborhood can come out and pick this food. tomatoes. Here's more tomatoes. They have about 5 rows of tomatoes that are all caged up like this. And I know, being here last year, they had a lot of green beans growing up here. So they're practicing a crop rotation and growing all types of heavy feeders. Here are some peppers, hot peppers. I laugh just because one of my friends that started this whole project with, he loves peppers, so I'm not surprised to see a lot of hot peppers out here. Here are some green bell peppers growing. And once again, garden fans, these are just standard run-of-the-mill veggies. These are what you're going to find down at your big box store. So this church is trying to provide the basic foods to the local community here, free of charge, no cost whatsoever. It's been a fun project to get started. When I started it back in 2014, there really wasn't, this was not in the works at all. So to see every square inch being used is pretty amazing. They've got cucumbers out here. Here are some yellow squash growing that are looking good. Once again, people are picking food off of here. Nothing too big is left on the vine. And there's plenty of food for all, honestly. I mean, this is 7,200 square feet of growing space. And here is the last veggie they got growing in the plot. It is okra. And okra is a good one anywhere in Zone 8. It can it's pretty pest resilient. It's pretty disease resilient as well. Doesn't really get affected by humid temperatures. And just a little bit of rain, and you'll get tons and tons of okra that you can bottle and store for a whole year. Anyway, garden fans, that is the whole community garden plot that gives away their food for free. Super crazy, I know. I wanted to take a little time here and show you this because it is kind of something special for this neighborhood, at least. And it's a model that we should definitely be pushing in all our communities. We should have a lot more smaller community gardens that help feed everyone, and less monocropping, monoculture, big agriculture. Appreciate y'all watching, garden fans. Please like, share, and subscribe as always. God bless.